we sipping before, or is it part of it?
I think we just made it part of it.
Okay.
All right, you ready to get into it?
I'm ready to get into it.
3, 2, 1.
Discount Bourbon Reviews!
All right, guys, we're back with another episode. We have a very special one today. We have a bottle of Weller Antique 107 that we were able to find at MSRP. That means no fancy pants will be put on today because it is a $50 bottle right there at the cap of the Discount Bourbon Review tier list.
If you do not count the money we spent on gas to go get the bottle.
Or the sanity and therapy bills, the food bill, anything like that related to the trip. You'll have to go see the Ohio trip that we made to go get this Weller Antique 107 in another video.
And these 2 bottles of blends.
We did stop by the Buffalo Trace Distillery too. But we have a pour of Weller Special Reserve right here, so we can compare against it.
Just regular green label.
Just regular green label.
We want to get a taste of it, and then we want to crack into the 107 and see how they compare. See the differences between the two.
But this is a good one. Good seal. Let's break into it.
While he's cracking into it, I'm going to go ahead and get my sip of my Weller. It's always so good. The Special Reserve is just fantastic. Ooh. And we were actually lucky enough. Of course, we'll go into a lot more detail about it in the full video on the Ohio trip, but we were actually lucky enough to get 2 bottles of the 107 as well. So we got one as a trophy, and we got one to crack open just so we could try it and do the review for you guys.
Yeah. We did that entire Ohio trip just so you guys can learn whether or not it's worthy of making such a stupid trip yourself.
Ooh. The smells he gives off are very nice.
Let me catch up with you here. A king, of course, Special Reserve. I know him. I love him. I know. Okay, over here. Let's get in.
It's very good. You get a nose full
Wow.
of those bright fruits.
Yeah.
Just a little bit of vanilla at the end. It's very sweet.
It's just next level. I mean, the Weller's sweet. I've always known him for being a good caramel, honey-like sipper.
Ooh. That is absolutely next level compared to the Special Reserve. You can find the similarities.
Yeah.
But it's absolutely
There's
next
that
level.
same kind of honey
that.
note to it, but it's just taken up that next level. It's like you found those berries in there, the red fruit. Oh, it's just...
No oak. Maybe just a little tiny... I take
Sorry.
that back. No smoke. Just a little tiny bit of oak.
I'm taking a look at the bottle here. He's breathing.
Yeah, you can
He's
see him
alive.
breathing right here.
Yeah. Good seal
Fresh
on him.
crack. All right. I think
Do
it's
it.
only proper for the 107. Oh, wow. That is absolutely wonderful. I think probably just the smoothest sip of any bourbon I've ever had in general. It's beautifully light on the palate. He doesn't stick around any longer than he needs to. He's there for a little bit, but the second you're like, ooh, this is getting to be a little much, he leaves. He's
Yes.
gone.
An incredible expression of some of those more dark notes. You know, originally I was saying red fruits, but I kind of want to dial it back to like stone fruits. It's almost reminiscent of like apricots. Very reminiscent of like plums. You know?
I can agree with that.
Yeah. But there's that same just kind of honeyed, sweet caramel notes that come along with the Weller. And he just has no bite on the back end, as you would expect from a wheated bourbon. Yeah.
And these legs on him are just crazy thick. Look at how slow he
Yeah.
goes down across the board.
That is crazy. It's like a slug going down the side of the glass.
It
You know, the
is.
higher the proof, the slower the leg. So that's some proof there that we got some proof.
Can you say proof one more time for me?
That's the proof.
Ooh, twofer. I love that. But I'm going to go for my last sip. I want to finish her off.
Do it. Knock it out. Then we get into the rating of it. Especially as I compare it against the Weller Special Reserve. It's something I wish I had a little bit more access to.
If I had access to this on the regular basis, I would still be spending the $55 we spent on it.
So I think that brings us to both a 10 out of 10 on the price category. If you can find it at $50,
Scoop that.
Scoop. Do not wait.
It's out of my budget. It's definitely fancy pants territory. But if I saw it for 60, 65, no questions asked. I'm scooping that. That's an easy grab.
Now, I do know I see some secondary market resellers in our area going for 100, 120. What do you start to think about that price point?
If we're looking at that price point, that's definitely, for what I try to stick in, that 20 to 50 range typically. Even 50 is a little bit on the higher end for me. But that secondary market price, one, I'm just not a very big fan of. I'm not a very big fan of the flippers. I just want to be able to enjoy it, and I think everyone should be able to enjoy it. And at those prices, it becomes a little unobtainable for some people.
I agree with that.
And
I agree with that.
At 120, I mean that's a 5 or a 6 on price. I mean, if you've got the money and you don't have to worry about it, I mean that's still
slam down. But then, what are you doing watching this? Go watch Fancy Pants Bourbon review. Okay.
There's lots more fancy pants.
No, I think at a couple different price points, I think that it's an absolute buy. I just think secondary market's kind of crazy. You know what I mean?
Secondary market will always come out.
I understand why it exists. There's rare bottles out there. People have them. In their
that's the thing.
They let them go to their friends and family. But
120, that's not too crazy. You know what I mean? Once we start getting into the 3, the 4 times the price of MSRP, that's when it's like, that's unrealistic. I'm not going to spend that much on a bottle.
I agree with that. But as far as taste, I got to give them a solid 10. It's probably one of the best bourbons I think I've ever had. And as far as liking Wellers, as far as liking weed products, I think for me this is a superior whiskey. This is probably one of the top whiskeys I've ever had.
I don't disagree with any part of that. I'm going to say, just because I want to believe that there might be something a little bit better to try.
You're holding out hope.
Wild. I'm holding out hope. I want to say a 9.5.
You can get a 9.5.
Where we stand right now, it's absolutely, that's probably some of the best bourbon I've ever tasted. It's I have half a mind to pour a second sip. I'm going to hold back because we got a couple of others that we're going to try here today.
That may be for the Patreon exclusive. That may be for the after hours.
We don't have a Patreon.
Not yet, but let us know.
Yeah. But I don't even... It's beautiful. I love it. Taste-wise, 9.5, but I really want to hold out that I might try something later.
Now, Dylan, I will spill the beans. The other day, I was able to acquire a sip of full proof and 12-year. So I went from having just single proof, just the Special Reserve, to now having 4 of the Weller lineup. And I gotta say, even amongst the rest of the lineup, I think this has got contention for me up at the top. The full proof was a wonderful expression. It was just everything you could ever want out of Weller, dialed up to the 10. And this hits just about every note there. There's just a little bit that just needs to come with it. A little bit of je ne sais quoi in that last little 3% proof points, or the 107 to 114. That 7 points there.
Yeah, that's very interesting to hear. I did not know that. I knew the full proof. I don't remember you telling me about the 12-year.
Well, by that time, I already had some full proof in me.
That's fair. But so that's news, and that's very surprising to hear.
Yeah.
But
Weller Antique 107, nose 10.
Nose
taste,
is easy.
10.
Price
for me at 50, 10. If you're paying anything more than double MSRP, I'd be sad to pass it up. If it's your first one and you're real excited about it, maybe think about it, but I think you'll think about that price point.
Definitely fancy pants territory.
Yeah, definitely fancy pants territory.
Absolutely. I think overall, in trying to keep everything in mind, even the 9.5 I gave it on flavor, even though it is still the best that I've had up to right now. I think including that, I'm going to give it a 9.8. I mean, it's perfect.
That's
just
right.
About across the board for me. But I still want to hold out hope that I might find something.
Now, I know there'll be some alternatives to this. I do believe you could find like a single barrel select. Don't quote me on that, but I know they have that for some other products. I'd be curious to see. I know some barrels are going to be better than others. You'll have to take a look at that in our Blanton's Brothers video to see which bottle is better, just being a couple ricks apart, just being a couple barrels apart. But all that being said, Weller Antique 107, one of the best I've ever had. 10 out of 10 on everything across the board.
That's on my mama.
Yeah. Isn't that awesome?
Oh, it's fucking beautiful, bud.
No.
No, I gotta have another sip. Where do we go from that?
Oh my gosh, man. That's just... Yeah, because we didn't do our full ounce. We just did a halfie, right?
Yeah.
It's not fair to us. I like how it glugs every time. I don't know why he glugs.
I'll hold out. How many more of these are we going to do, earnestly?
Well, I feel like we could do... We obviously got Blanton's. We can do the Blanton's review.
I'm down to do a Blanton's review, but I don't want to crack him.
He's not cracked? We can do my cracked Blanton's.
I'm down to do just a straight Blanton's review.
Until you share that with Dad.
Yeah, that's going to be a Thanksgiving.
Yeah, no, we can just do the straight Blanton's from this one. That's the beauty of having the two of them.
Yeah.
That we scooped up there.
The three.
Excuse me. We're going to be privileged here on Discount Bourbon Review.
Well, apparently at the Discount Bourbon Review, we got a little bit of some fancy pants.
You gotta. Maybe that's what's causing all that bubbling, is that neck. But my other brothers don't bubble on the neck like that.
Maybe it's just that extra.
And we'll do the Blanton's. And then...
If we do the Blanton's and sip this, I'll call it after the Blanton's. Just for today. I'm down to come back real quick sooner into this week.
Well, we can do that, and then we can do the overall Ohio trip video.
That's right.
We can talk about that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll do Rose City. No, it is. It's really crazy how it goes from those, because you get a lot of like.
Weller's there. It's there. You know what I mean?
I get a lot of that real dark cherry in the nose, but in the flavor, it's just not there. It definitely switches more to that stone fruit, that apricot plum.
I agree. That is such a really interesting note. Out here, it's just super red.
Yeah.
Maybe that's just a little bit of branding. Maybe that's just the label. Who knows? Doing a little mouth trick, I get a lot of vanilla.
Ooh. Even the sniff just took me to another place.
I know, right? Drunk off the sniff.
Shit.
Jesus.
The sniff alone ever make your eyes water?
Yeah.
Oh.
That's how you know got that stanky shit. That good shit.
Ooh.
He's creamy. You don't like that adjective?
I don't know.
He's got a different mouth texture than some other whiskeys. He's not quite thin and oily. But I don't know if he's thicker than the average water.
I feel like he's thin. I feel like he's quite thin.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, you got that deep chew. Took you all the way to Charleston, huh?
You know, they teach you how to sip whiskey, and there's a lot of truth in that. And if you miss the mark, sometimes proof can hit you like a fucking freight train. But even with it, crying tears of joy.
I mean, it's still all that good flavor.
And it really helped give me actually some of that aspiration. Really brought forward some of those cherry notes, to be honest.
I mean, that's interesting.
Yeah,
actually.
You should try it. You should put the back of the throat and go, yeah, let's get the paper towels out.
I got something for you. Gotta unstraddle.